6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack vanished from their rural home in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. It's now been months without a breakthrough, but the investigation continues. In this video, we'll walk through the key developments, the latest evidence, and the unanswered questions surrounding this tragic case. This is the story of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, missing children whose disappearance has gripped Canada and beyond. To understand where the investigation stands, we need to revisit what is known. Lilly, born 2019, lived with their biological mother, Malehya Brooks-Murray, their stepfather, Daniel Martell, and a younger sister in a rural property on Garalock Road. The land around their home is thickly forested, with steep banks and dense brush, terrain that complicates search efforts. The day before they went missing, May 1st, surveillance footage showed Lilly and Jack with their mother and stepfather at a Dollarama in nearby New Glasgow. On May 2, around 9:40 a.m., the parents say they were in a bedroom with the baby daughter, Meadow, while the older children were elsewhere in the house. Shortly afterward, they said they could not hear Lilly or Jack anymore. When they looked, the children were gone. At 10:01 a.m., Brooks-Murray called 911 to report them missing. The parents claimed a wrench had been placed on the front door the previous night. They say it was undisturbed, which led them to believe the children must have exited via the back sliding door, which is said to open silently. Martell's mother, Janie Mackenzie, lived in a separate structure on the property and reported hearing the children playing on swings early in the day, though she fell asleep again afterward. Because of the remote setting and difficult terrain, initial search efforts faced challenges. Still, authorities and volunteers mobilized swiftly. The RCMP quickly launched a missing persons and search operation, though the scale of the search was reduced after several days due to limited leads. In the early phase, investigators pursued multiple lines of inquiry, search efforts and public tips. Within days, hundreds of tips were submitted by the public. RCMP collected hundreds of hours of video surveillance from the area surrounding the disappearance. Dozens of interviewees were questioned, more than 50 individuals in total, and some underwent polygraph exams. Early on, authorities publicly stated that there was no clear evidence of abduction, but they did not rule it out, scaling back a broad search. By May 7, after nearly a week, the large-scale search was scaled back. Having combed much of the terrain without success, search efforts shifted to more targeted zones. Some search teams were stood down, but investigators clarified that the case remained active. Court authorizations, seizures, and forensic pursuit. Over the subsequent months, investigators sought court permissions to search phone records, video footage, banking records, and other digital and physical evidence. Global news. Items of particular interest included a pink blanket believed to belong to Lilly. A portion of the blanket was discovered in a tree about 1 kilometer from the home on May 2, and another piece was later found in a trash bag at the end of the driveway. Investigators confirmed both pieces were from the same blanket. A sniffer dog was dispatched to the area where the first piece was found, but was unable to pick up a scent leading to the children. Polygraph examinations and statements. In May and June, at least 4 polygraph exams were conducted, 2 on the parents, 1 on the step-grandmother, and 1 on the biological father, Cody Sullivan. The first polygraphs, May 12, for both parents were reported as truthful when answering specific questions, though the precise questions were redacted. Martell later claimed to have passed a polygraph. The step-grandmother's physiology was judged unsuitable for analysis. The biological father, Cody Sullivan, took a polygraph on June 12 and was also reported to have his answers considered truthful under the test. However, it's important to note that polygraph results are an investigative tool, not definitive proof, and are generally not admissible in court. In August 2025, newly released court documents shed further light on previously unknown details. Last confirmed sighting outside home. The documents reaffirm that the children were last seen on May 20 outside their home, captured on surveillance at a Dollarama in New Glasgow with mother and stepfather. Blanket evidence. The discovery of the blanket, first in a tree roughly 1 kilometer from the home, later in a trash bag by the driveway, has drawn attention. The family reportedly confirmed it belonged to Lilly. The attempt to track scent from the first piece using a sniffer dog failed to yield a trail. Investigative assertions in court filings. The redacted filings contain statements by RCMP Major Crime Unit investigators, some of which suggest that at this point they do not have reasonable grounds to believe a criminal offense has occurred. That said, the disappearance is still being treated as suspicious, given the lack of clarity and unresolved leads. Witness tip about children walking toward a vehicle. One new tip described a witness who on the morning of May 2 allegedly saw a young girl and boy walking along a roadway, approaching a tan gold sedan parked nearby with its back door open. A woman, described as Caucasian, 50-60 years old with loose curls, was standing nearby. The witness later met with police near the intersection of Garalock Road and Lansdowne Station Road and said the vehicle was waiting for the children. Investigators have not confirmed whether the children seen were definitively Jack and Lilly. That tip remains under examination. Border video requests. Among the court applications was a request for video from Cobequid Pass Toll Plaza cameras to track vehicles leaving Nova Scotia between May 1 and May 3, 3:30 a.m. The aim was to trace any movement crossing provincial boundaries that might correspond to efforts to remove the children from the region. As of August 2025, the case remains unsolved. No recovery, nor confirmed trace. No bodies, remains, or confirmed location of Lilly and Jack has been revealed, nor has there been a verified lead that delivers closure. Many of the public tips have been assessed, with little to show for them thus far. Case direction is ambiguous. The court documents suggest that investigators currently do not have sufficient grounds to label the disappearance as a crime. Global news. Yet, because no convincing evidence supports a natural wandering outcome either, the case remains in a gray zone, suspicious but unproven. Weather, terrain, and time are major obstacles. The heavily forested and rugged landscape around the children's home makes searches difficult and resource-intensive. Over weeks and months, natural elements, weather, decay, animals, and environmental change may erase or obscure traces. Conflicting possibilities, inconsistent statements. Some statements by family members have changed over time. For instance, timing of when children were put to bed. The blanket evidence raises questions. How did a large, distinctive blanket become separated into pieces and scattered? The credibility and details of witness tips, such as the sedan tip, are yet to be confirmed. Duty to preserve, chain of public trust. Because the case is high profile, there is public pressure, speculation, and potential for misinformation. Investigators must balance transparency with preserving the integrity of evidence and leads. Beyond facts, this case has deeply impacted the community. Community support and vigilance, local residents, volunteers, and First Nations groups have held candlelight vigils and called for continued attention to the case. The disappearance has sparked debate over missing child alert systems in Canada, including whether an Amber Alert should have been issued. Media, speculation, and cautions. Online theorizing is rampant, but authorities caution against spreading unverified claims that could compromise investigations. The parents and extended family have cooperated publicly, expressing frustration and heartbreak, pleading for answers. Emotional stakes. Every day without a breakthrough erodes hope, but the family and community continue to demand resolution, not just closure. As the case continues, here are the essential questions that remain unresolved, and what developments to watch for. Was there foul play, or did the children wander? The investigators seem to lean away from declaring it criminal, but this is not definitive. What happened with the blanket pieces? How did they get divided and deposited? And could forensics or trace evidence still connect them to specific locations or times? Did that sedan tip hold weight? Was that vehicle tied to the disappearance? And could surveillance or toll camera footage confirm its route or identity? What do phone, banking, or digital records reveal? The court documents suggest investigators requested access, movement, calls, or transactions might provide clues. Will new witnesses or technological advances help? With more time, sometimes new memories emerge. Advances in video enhancement or geospatial analysis could unlock stale leads. Will authorities shift the classification to a criminal missing persons case? That could change resources, investigative posture, and public messaging. Lilly and Jack Sullivan remain missing. Their disappearance is still among the most perplexing cases in Canada today. As of August 2025, the investigation is active but stalled. The evidence is fragmentary. The lines of inquiry are many. None have produced a definitive answer. For our viewers, if you live in or traveled through Pictou County, Nova Scotia around late April, early May 2025, or if you have dashcam footage, surveillance, or even memories of seeing a tan or gold sedan near rural roads in that period, please come forward. Even seemingly small details may tip the balance in investigations like this. We will keep watching for updates and bring them to you as soon as they emerge. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any breaking developments. May Lilly and Jack return home.